everybody, and welcome to the Red River Raging, the Flood of a Century. This is about the 97 Manitoba Red River flood. When I was born. Yeah. This is apparently was way worse than the ice storm, which we knew. Fortunately, we knew that. Not everybody knows that, but well. Why did you have to duplicate? Go back here. Go back here. Unbelievable. Okay. Okay, shut up. Yeah. So, this costed us, at the time, or well, not me, but $3.5 billion of property damage. So way more than the million that they said in the other documentary right here. Because they said millions, this was billions. That is still impacting us financially and physically today, because we're still getting floods up our rears here in Winnipeg. Not that I live there. And there's still a lot of problems, even nowadays, that they still haven't fixed, which is the other, fun part. Anyway, I guess let's go into, I don't really fucking care. The Rising Red Winnipeg Dock. Yeah, fuck off, okay. Niverville. Uh-huh.
Believe me, it's scary to see that. You don't want.
By the way, I said Niverville is a place in Manitoba. Fuck off.
Be caught in that.
Uh-huh. Sure. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
48, 50, a big one. 66, 69, 74, 79,
Uh-huh.
96, and 97.
Uh-huh.
You've never seen anything like this.
Yeah. We have floods forever.
Going down the river.
Uh-huh. They're crying.
In the spring of 1997, Manitobans endured the worst flood this province has seen in nearly 2 centuries. An archetypal struggle ensued between an ancient river seeking to expand its borders and the river people who live alongside it, fighting to protect their lives and property.
Uh-huh.
Since water level measurements were first taken at the forks of the Red and Assiniboine rivers, only the Great Flood of 1826 had higher measured levels than those that would be recorded in 1997. A vast Red Sea covered southern Manitoba,
Yeah.
Canada-US border.
We were a lake.
Covering nearly 1,000.
In fact, I think...
Despite surprisingly accurate flood forecasts from city and provincial officials,
Wow.
nothing could have prepared Manitoba for the awesome power the Red River would unleash on the valley. But the people of
And that's the thing. Winnipegans, Manitobans are still living in fear of the big one again. We talk about California's big ones. Each place has like their big worries, like the big thing that could happen. This was the big one for us, and we could have another one. There's the biggest there's big tornadoes in the Midwest or whatever. There's hurricanes and I mean, we get tornadoes here in Winnipeg there too. In Manitoba, there was the only one F5 in history, as far as we know, kinda, because this was when they could at least measure things. and there was the one near Ely, Manitoba. It got up to an F5. It didn't last very long in an F5. But this is like Canadian Tornado Alley as well. There's hurricanes all over the place. There was hurricanes on this year in Nova Scotia, like the Atlantic provinces, where, like, for those of you that don't know, that's where Cindy Crosby is from. On the Penguins, I think, still, right? I don't know. I don't follow very much of that bullshit anymore. There's fires and, again, more earthquakes on Canada's west coast too. With British Columbia, we get earthquakes there, and we get avalanches there in that area because, of course, there's big mountains that reach up to levels that get snow on the top of them. There's a bunch of different situations there. There's mudslides, which, you know, again, are situation based, where this is more or less like different because of how big this was compared to a little fucking mudslide that my parents were caught in at one point in their lives, which they were never hurt. They were never covered in mud. Don't worry. Not that it matters anymore anyway. But yeah, there's a lot there. Canada gets hit with a lot, sometimes more so than most. Do you see, like, if you go to oh my goodness, where was I that the buildings were like all like full of cement, like the buildings were meant to hold up through like bad storms. The everything was built properly, in my opinion, but a lot of money went into that, but a lot more than you need in other places. For example, where the hell was I? I was somewhere where that was a thing, where they filled those buildings up to the point of like the walls being probably thicker than some of your apartments out there, full of cement, just to hold up during those kinds of storms. I know New York has a lot of that. I mean, it is called the cement jungle, isn't it? Or something like that. So, yeah, and you'll get lost in New York way too easily. Anyway.
Manitoba rose to this unprecedented challenge.
Uh-huh.
A fighting spirit that would leave the rest of Canada shaking their heads in wonder and admiration. With the eyes of the world on them, Manitobans wouldn't just survive the battle with the raging Red River, they would win it. CKND Newsline was there every step of the way to bring you comprehensive coverage of this remarkable story. What follows is a compilation of those events from the spring of 1997, and it is intended to stand as a testament to all those who battled the flood of the century.
Yep.
All net proceeds from the sale of this video will go directly to the Canadian Red Cross Flood Relief Fund.
I will do that with this video too. If this video makes me anything, I don't know if it will. Some videos make you money, some videos don't. I will donate money to that. The same with, I should have said that in the last one. Any videos from this series, the other series, I will donate to the respective charities, by the way. So I'm not just you know, whatever. So I don't want to see comments. You're doing this on a paid account. I'm like, what does that even mean? Because for anything that I do that is like this, I will donate that money to that. Even if it's years down the road when I actually get paid for this video, I will make sure that I will go back and look at whichever ones needed to be donated or the money from those will be donated, and in all the amount of years, whether if it's 6 or 7 right now, or 8 or 10 when I get paid for all this, I will make sure I'll donate the amount that these videos made in viewership. I can calculate that easily, and I'll make sure that money goes to each one of these places for the whole series, not just one video, not just 2 of the videos. I will make sure that it goes properly. Anyway, smoothing, whatever. I'm not an asshole, even though I like to be sometimes. Depends on the situation.
Tuesday, April 29th.
That's
Leaving
sketchy.
the path of destruction in its wake, the crest of the raging Red River hits the Canada-U.S. border.
Uh-huh.
Manitobans brace themselves for the flood of the century.
Uh-huh.
And all eyes are on the border town of Emerson as the crest approaches. Protected only by its ring dike, Emerson now stands in the middle of the swollen red, with only a few emergency personnel left to power the pumps.
Oh, I wouldn't be scared of this myself. I will endure. Humans will endure. Winnipeggers will always pull through.
Quiet in Emerson today, the calm before the storm.
Hey!
We're going out.
Emerson, where they also had that tornado and I forget when.
The last resident.
Oh no, that was Eli. Fuck. I just said that. Fuck me. Okay.
Emerson is now isolated behind its ring dike. It's a wrenching feeling to leave the town after battling so hard to defend it from the onslaught of the red.
Totally.
No one else is going to be there. I don't know if I'll have a job. Leaving.
That's not the important part.
Others are relieved the flood preparations are finally over.
It's just mostly relief. I'm not that worried about the house. If something happens, something happens. I can't do anything about it now anyway.
Premier Gary Philman dropped in for a last-minute check.
Oh, the filming.
He's hopeful the dike will hold, but is under no illusions about what's ahead for southern Manitoba.
In uncharted territory, this is, I think most people say, a 1 in 500-year flood. That's not something that people plan for.
The ring dike in Emerson will be the first in Manitoba tested by the flooding red. It's been built 1.5 feet higher than the expected crest. A plywood splash guard has been bolted on top. It'll be patrolled by crews of 12 people working in shifts, ferried in by the Army. No one lives in Emerson now. The last evacuees left this afternoon in a military convoy.
It's unfortunate that some people have to go, but their thoughts will be with us.
Do you realize that a lot of times they called it an act of God in some of these situations? The whole act of God bullshit is annoying because, first of all, no. Secondly, Christians, just forgive me now. Whatever. I don't.
Because we were here to do what they couldn't do.
Now it's up to the dike. Will it hold back the Red River when it crests here on Sunday? All eyes will be on Emerson to see if it's possible to defeat the flood of the century.
When I saw Grand Forks, that's when it was really scary
Uh-huh.
along here. You know, when you see what can happen.
If any Manitobans doubted they would be in for the battle of their lives in 1997, those doubts were quickly erased by the pictures and stories of utter destruction that took place only days before in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Yep.
The fight was lost there to the river when the city's dike system succumbed to the rising red, covering 75% of Grand Forks with 3 to 4 feet of water.
Oh my goodness.
40,000 people were driven from their homes.
Just.
Estimates were in the billions of dollars. The surreal sight of downtown Grand Forks engulfed in flames as the water covered the streets was a grim warning to Manitoba of the awesome power the surging river was about to unleash on them.
A 5-foot cement dike isn't enough to keep the water back.
No shit, Sherlock.
Entire neighborhoods are completely shut down. This is Grand Forks, North Dakota's worst flood in a century. Almost 3,000 people have been forced from their homes, and another 50,000 wait for the call. 500
Yeah.
years. Now, a downtown fire that began yesterday has taken over 4 city blocks. The entire city of 50,000 is being urged to evacuate.
Walk away from those homes, walk away from those buildings. We will rebuild, and we will be.
I have a problem with that. First of all, if this ever happened again, I know where to go. If any of you ever saw the studio, it's a massive fucking cement building. It's not going anywhere. I don't fucking care. There's no way that they're gonna get me out of there. I don't care if the basement floods. I'll make sure that the basement doesn't flood. That's not my priority. Even though the basement might look like a fish aquarium outside. Do you realize that's in a lot of cases, except for where that fire was taking place? Do you realize it would have been safer just being in the house? I get that the house, some houses will wash away, but in other cases, you wouldn't get me out of that fucking house. You do realize that, right? You said how many feet of water? 3 or 4 feet? That doesn't scare me either. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Because if this whole area was a lake, let's just say this whole entire area where my studio place is, with the shop and the everything else that we do there, work there and everything. If it's all a lake, you do realize I could get a boat and go to a grocery store. A lot of times the grocery stores will still have food, and they'll be giving them out at that point because, there's no point in selling food then because, well, people wouldn't have the money even, and they wouldn't even come with money. I could go to any grocery store, get in a boat, in my fucking big ass vehicle, even though I did say in the last video that, and drive to the nearest grocery store, because again, or the nearest place that they have food, and giving out food. It doesn't matter where. And get food. So I'm not worried about that. Water, I could get anything in there, really. You do realize that they make trucks higher now, so that they can still deliver the food to those places. The ramps and the trucks are high enough to go over the dike, or like to reach the bridge over the dikes to get the food down into the store. There's so much more like precautions we have taken. It needed this, first of all, for us to smarten up. We build houses nowadays a lot better. Yes, they're not as good as like the fucking cement house that I grew up in, and that's the studio. But we build houses much stronger now. That who gives a fuck about the basement? If you're putting stuff in the basement and not having precautions to make sure that the water doesn't come into the basement in any capacity. I don't care if it's like a fucking cheap ass house or this kind of house. You're asking for trouble, first of all. And secondly, the basement isn't gonna make your house wash away. That's just my opinion. So if you're not near the fires, like, go, stay at home. And this happened during the summer, so it's not like you need heat. It's not like you need air conditioning. Go out for a swim. You have a lake in your backyard. But yeah, I feel for everybody, but I mean also don't leave your house. What the fuck are you doing? If, like I say, if it's safe enough, if your house is safe enough, don't leave it.
Be stronger, and we will be in it together.
Mandatory evacuations are in place in 75% of the city, but hundreds of residents
Uh-huh.
are reluctant to leave their belongings behind.
We can't fight this one. Everything is gone.
Oh,
Gone.
it's stuff. Don't. Do you realize if I don't care about anything. Everything can be replaced. The only thing I would grab is my fucking pets, kids, whatever. And they stock the vehicle full of the food and this rocking chair. This rocking chair that I'm sitting on, I can never replace. That's everything else. I don't care about the fucking computer. I don't care, at that point, I don't care about the fucking videos on the computer. I mean, it's easy to just grab the computer and leave everything else. I don't, if push comes to shove, I'll grab the tower and fuck the screens, the cameras, I'll have to grab the consoles, the video game consoles as well. And throw it in my vehicle, which is, again, easy, because... or strap it down, or whatever. So, I mean, for one person to grab those few things, just start piling the food in there. Grab the computer, the cat. In this case, if this happened right now when I don't have anyone else, I could care less about everything else. Like, everything else is just stuff. This certain stuff I can't replace. Food, I'm gonna need it to survive. Otherwise, I don't care. I mean, if I had a little bit of warning, I would at least a couple months, or at least a month or so. Then I would be able to like just say fuck it, throw it and just start piling stuff in the vehicle. Take a couple several trips, bringing stuff back to the island of relevancy and legitimacy there at the studio area. But like I say, I don't care. I don't care if I got a month, or I'll do what I need to do. I'll get everything out, or I'll get what is important to me out. Otherwise, I don't care about anything else in that regard. Of course I'm going to care if I'm moving. Of course I don't want to leave anything when I'm actually moving apartments or something. Of course that's something that you always make sure. Because I can't afford to replace that then, but with insurance I can. So
The situation is so severe that police are threatening to arrest those who don't obey the evacuation order.
that's illegal. Okay, so this is U.S., so it makes Grand Forks makes sense that they're corrupt. You can't falsely imprison someone. No, even if it's the corrupt U.S. Situation. That's false imprisonment, and you can that's punishable. You'll go to prison before they would legally go to prison. We learned this already.
Well, we spend the night in jail.
Dan Hennessy and Ken Sweeney are risking arrest.
Yeah, we canoed right into it.
I'm gonna.
Got the front end of the canoe into it anyway.
What did it look like?
By the way, at that point, hell is hell, and well, certain people are gonna be drowning by my hand if they try to take me out of my home.
Well, the basement is completely full. And
No shit.
what would you say, like 8 or 9 more inches of rise before the main floor goes?
Oh my goodness.
If we're lucky, maybe a foot.
Yeah.
Water and power have been cut off to all parts of the city. Floodwaters are being used to control the flames. It will be at least 3 weeks before things can return to normal in Grand Forks. The river is close to cresting, but it's expected to stay this high for another 6 days. Grand Forks officials say they had no idea the water would get this high. As the river continues to surge north, people here are warning Manitobans to prepare for the worst.
Tributary systems all along the Red River throughout southern Manitoba were also flooding their banks, with the ground already saturated from high water levels in 1996. Record snowfall over the winter, meltwater has nowhere to go. Combine these levels with water backing up from the Red River, the result was predictable. First struck near Manitoba takes place April 20th. Gilbert Creek overflows St. Pierre Joly.
Wow, lovely.
Last night, St. Pierre Joly was partially evacuated. Personal care wing was empty. People had to be taken to safety when Bear Creek backed up and flooded homes.
Put all the stuff on the cupboards, raised everything in the
Yeah.
put all the toys, whatever. Save whatever you can.
Yeah.
The creek continues to run dangerously high, proving the red isn't the only menace in the valley. The town is frantically patching and raising its ring dike today. Volunteers are out in force sandbagging. Homeowners are keeping a wary eye on the creek.
There's the potential for the entire valley to be evacuated, and we are working with all the communities in the valley. Close to 20,000 Manitobans living in the Red River Valley.
Sure.
Any decision to evacuate the valley will be made in close consultation with community officials, who will then implement the evacuation plan.
The flood is the enemy, it seems, and it's as close as I've ever been to a war, really.
Really?
It's kind of frightening.
With evacuation plans in place throughout the Red River Valley, Manitobans brace themselves for the flood of the century. The disasters in North Dakota have the people on edge and wary. They too could be facing billion-dollar losses as the water reaches above even the catastrophic levels of 1950.
Lori and Betty McGregor remember May 5th, 1950 as if it was yesterday, the day the Red River caught them by surprise.
We were wakened at 6 o'clock in the morning by my husband's father saying, "Look out your window." And we looked out, and there was the torrent of water coming down the street both ways.
I said, "Well, I'll put on my rubbers." I said, "Never mind, it's up to your knees already." And just kept going.
Like 100,000 other Winnipeggers, the McGregors were forced to flee their homes. Theirs was one of 10,000 houses built with 3 feet of dirty river water.
Interesting. Well, we got past the 10-minute mark. Okay, well, I was gonna look for my insurance and kind of. So I think I don't care if people know this. I think my insurance is like 30. I would get $30,000 if shit goes up in smoke here. Where I am now. But my fucking filing cabinet is like a mess. So I'm never gonna find it. Probably. And it was only a couple months ago that I did this, so that tells you something. And I got that insurance. So, fucking tax returns. Well, it's here somewhere. I do know that. Alright, well, anyway. Yeah, so that's, well, the first 10 minutes of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. By the way, vegetarians, a lot of animals died here.